Hello again, everyone. For today's card, I wanted to combine two things. One is a request to make a ruby wedding anniversary card for some friends of mine, from some friends of ours, from another friend of ours, if you get my drift. So that's the one thing. The other was to include some of these. Now, these were a surprise gift from a lady called Chris. She messaged me and said, could she send me something? She wanted to see what I could do with it. So it was all a bit of a mystery. And then this envelope came with just these in. No message, no sender. So it was, where have they come from? What's happened? I remembered somebody saying they wanted to send me something, so I looked back through my messages and found out. Now, these are beautiful, beautiful printed vellum sheets, and each one is printed with a white or cream design, and there's a few of several. Some script, some little flowers, dragonflies. I don't know if you can see these things. Bottles of champagne, cyclist style ones. Some text, Japanesey or Chinese. It looks like Japanesey to me. Swirly things, a bit of music, butterflies, and some manuscript music. Now, these friends of ours whose anniversary is coming up, they're friends that we all met through music. The chap is a composer. I've actually mentioned him to you on previous occasions, and I put a link to one of his pieces that's widely played on YouTube. He grew up in a Salvation Army family. His father was bandmaster. He became bandmaster of his local citadel at one point, and he plays the trumpet as well. So very music. He sings, he's conducted choirs, etc., etc. His wife also is a singer, and we all love music. We've been to Covent Garden together, all sorts. So this is from some mutual friends to some mutual friends. So I have made the greeting on the computer in a mix of fonts. The script is Alex Brush and the print is Andalus, and I love the combination of these two. I wanted to get the colour of the printing to match this card, which I have, which is kind of a burgundy colour. So how did I do it, you ask me? What I did was I went on the internet and I just put in a search, burgundy colour, and various things came up, and I just grabbed one image of some burgundy. I dropped it into my paint program on my computer, used a dropper to pick up a bit of that colour, and then just looked at the top to see what the combination of the R, G and B, the red, green and blue colourings were. Went back to my Word program, put the combination in for this text, and it came out the perfect colour. So I have actually done a video on how to pick up a colour from something on the internet or on your computer. I can put a reference to that or a link to it in the description below this video. So I've got my wording. I did make a front panel, but I thought I would quite like this on the bottom like that. So what I thought I would do is just cut that out where I want it and just stick it on the top of that one. This piece of vellum with the music on shows up really quite nicely if you put it onto a darker piece of card. If you put it on white, you can kind of just about see it, but it's incredibly subtle. If you put it onto a darker piece, because the ink on it is white or slightly translucent white, it does show up more clearly. So what I thought was, if I have this as a panel going across the front of my card like that, it's going to be piecework, this is, isn't it? With that writing underneath, and I think I'm going to put it onto the left-hand side because, as you can see here, I got out a whole bunch of stuff and I was die cutting this and colouring that to try and see what I liked to decorate this. And I tried a whole bunch of hearts. Excuse me. Cascade of hearts. Wasn't too keen on that. Some flowers. This one looks a bit, I don't know, in your face. Then I did these three little ones. I actually coloured them with this marker, which happens to be the exact colour of that. I probably could have just cut them from that card anyway, but I quite like the finish that you get on something that has been coloured with the marker. And then went and got my old favourite gilding wax and just put a little over. So what I'm thinking is this. This one is a little sprig I just coloured with a gold. I'll show you. One of these gold markers. You can get all sorts of makes of these. These are Spectrum Noir, but they've been very difficult to find. So what I thought was I would have this on here. I would have, I'll shape the flowers and all that kind of stuff. Those on there, sort of like this. I'll probably get some pearls or something and colour them gold in the centre. And kind of, that is going to be it. Clean and simple. My friend loves clean and simple cards. It was one of the cards that she sent to me once that made me realise that clean and simple was the style that I preferred. So let's get thinking about this. Okay. If I put a piece of... Now, let's get this cut first. Now, how far over do I want it? I would think about like that. And then I can cover a bit of that up. I think that's all right there. Let me just put a piece of tape onto this. I've got to do it in bits. Actually, what I could have done, if I thought from the beginning, is put this further down before I actually cut my panel and then cut the whole thing from that piece of card. But I thought I'd just do it like this. Save a bit of card. Put a piece there. Get it straight. And a piece there. Okay, I'll just go and cut this out. Here's my bottom part. There. I think the next thing I want to do is just to put this, a piece of this on there, like so. What I think I will do is cut that to the width of my panel, and I'll cut this just a bit longer so that I can tuck it round behind. So let's first thing of all cut this. Right, there's my panel stuck onto this piece of the base layer. Now, if I have that about like this, I should be able to just cut that off and then turn those bits round underneath, because I don't want any adhesive behind this bit showing through. So let me just cut off a little piece. Okay, now get this centralised, there's that end. And the other end. Now that should stick on there and stay on without any adhesive showing on the front. So what I'm going to do is just put a bit of adhesive on the back to hold this on. Okay, let's get it in the middle. Just a tiny bit showing either side. Let's get it straight. There's that side. And that side. Okay, now these can just sit quite happily on there, like that. Okay, now the decoration. I want to shape these. These are the three I'm going to use. Where's the third one? And my piece of story of my life, isn't it? With my usual finesse, I have misplaced the leaf spray and the smallest flower. So I'll just show you quickly what I did to colour them. Honestly, I use this one because it's a lovely satiny finish. So that's for that. This one I coloured with this marker. As I said, you know, I could have cut it from the coloured card. This happens to be a pretty spot-on match, but I do like the surface, the shine that you get with a marker as opposed to just regular card. And then I used a little of my PBO, however you say it, gilding wax, just to add a few touches of gold, very, very roughly, onto the flower. Kind of like that. And that's how I did it. Absolutely simple. I honestly don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared. I come to use these things and away they go. Right. I think this was a lot of indecision here, wondering what I was going to do. This kind of led up to this. Now, I'm going to stick this onto the base there. What I may do, actually, is I'm looking at this. It's doing a little bit of this business. Can you see it's moving up and down? What I may do is put a couple of glue dots behind where those flowers will be. And then that will help to hold that. Can you see if I just do that? It kind of holds the whole thing down. So I'm just going to glue that onto here. The bits of vellum that were tucked under will be well and truly encased when I stick this down. Okay. There we go. You wouldn't know it wasn't all of a piece, would you really? Okay. Now we come to shape these. Have I still got three? Oh, there's that, and there's that. Oh, goodness me. Right, here's my foam sheet that I do my shaping on. Turn them face side down, and with an embossing tool, just simply give them a little bit of zhuzhing. Then I turn them over and just press in the middle. And it makes a huge difference because the leaves, the petals, should I say, are just slightly more, got a bit more movement to them. So this is going to go somewhere on here, as are these. Not quite sure of the arrangement just yet. Kind of a bit like this. I think that'll be fine. Oh, this isn't the one I've been using. This one, I'll just show the difference. This is just the regular tip that you get with Nuvo, what's it called? Clear drying craft glue, deluxe adhesive. You just get that. But if you've got one of the, I think they're Petunia, the glue presses, you can get a slightly finer tip like this with a metal end, and it has a pin on the inside of here, which is a much finer delivery, and it doesn't clog as easily. So I'm just going to put a few touches of this glue onto the leaf. I don't know, this is just a random leaf I had in my stash. I don't really know what the make of it is. Let's put this on about like that, say. Okay, and a bit of glue on this. I should be able to move these around a little bit if I don't like exactly where I put them first time. I think that will do quite nicely like that. Now, what I was talking about a moment ago is putting some glue dots behind where this is so that that piece of vellum will be held down. So here I've got some glue dots. I'm just going to cut it off close. This is empty here, and there's a glue dot right there. So all I'm going to do is to slide this in here underneath the flower and press, and then I can take this out and the glue dot's left inside and it's holding down that piece of vellum. I think that's probably all that I'll need. Now let me just see if I can find, I'll get some pearls on here, I think. Here's my pearls. What size shall we have? One down, I think, this one. At least for the tiny one, this little one here. I was thinking of doing them gold, but I might actually leave them as pearls. They're rather nice. I might use a slightly larger one on that large flower there. Come on, over you go. Got a mind of its own. Actually, I'm going to put a larger one on that one too. Let's have this one. There we are. This won't have to go through the post, I know, because such close friends see each other, you know, quite frequently. All right, let's have a look. I can go onto there. Yes, I'll put this onto foam tape. There we go. Another ruby anniversary card for some close friends, to give to close friends who are very much into music. So thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the thumbs up, and do come back and see me very soon.